My partner Ryan asked me a question. He was all upset. Why is Logan Paul calling out Paddy Pimblett? It's weird. That's a quote by Ryan. It's weird. No, I don't agree. I dig the Paul boys. And guys, I tried not to. I tried to not be one of those dorks that likes the Paul bro. I tried everything I could do. I resisted as long as I could resist. I met Jake Paul. That was a problem. That was a problem for not liking him because he was very likable. Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather. The gig is up. When you get in there with Floyd, the gig is up. You're now part of the community, period. You don't have to have the golden gloves. You don't have to go through the military. You don't have to try to make a world and or Olympic team as an amateur. You fought Floyd. It's over. You're now part of this group. Not to mention, Logan and Floyd had an agreement as to what a winner would mean. Logan won. Floyd did not just agree if you go the distance you win. He thought he could get him out of there. Logan thought, I can survive. I'm going to go out there and let you slaughter me, but I believe that I can still be. This was the agreement they made. Logan beat Floyd. It kind of irritates me when nobody tells the story that way, and I get that it doesn't need to reflect his record because I also get what an exhibition is. I realize we're splitting hairs. If we're splitting hairs about the exhibition, which does not represent in any way, it's not a win, loss, or a draw. It never happened. I understand that. But I feel that you must meet me on the other side of it, which is these two performers ahead of time told us what the rules were. Nobody griped that they went 8 rounds because we were told, we the audience were told what the rules are ahead of time. But that also included the outcome. That if it went to the distance and Logan was still standing, that he wins. Now set that aside, it's not the hill that I want to die on. I then see Logan over the weekend go out there and do a pro wrestling match of which he completely did not belong, and he was great. He showed a complete respect to you, the audience, and to the industry of which he did not belong. Now, he's done that twice. He does not belong in boxing. Both the Pauls, we're going to speak about Logan specifically, he does not belong in boxing. But he showed a respect to the industry based on the risk that he was willing to take and the ability, the conditioning, the techniques that he had to go out and put on a show. You can't deny him anymore. You cannot dismiss him as part of the club. He then showed that same respect. His check is no different from the WWE and WrestleMania ends if he botches the spot. It was expected. Everybody else that has been in his shoes has botched the spot. It's rotten garbage. Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone, these guys were terrible. They were terrible. Logan had a respect, and he thought he owed you, the audience. His check was going to be the same. He now thinks he owes you. Showed you a respect. You should show him a respect back in fairness. Now, topic at hand. Logan has 2 meaningful conversations in MMA in this past month. Once was with the boss. He sat with Dana White. He was trying to get he was acting as a manager, and he was trying to get his brother into the UFC. Moreover, with an eye on Conor, but into the UFC. Now, Dana asked him a couple of very basic questions that Dana would ask any promoter, such as, can your brother get to 170 pounds? The weight we can test and the highest I would ever allow Conor to go. No. Logan said no. Logan then tried to negotiate for Jake and get it to a potential of 175 pounds, but I think his wish was 178. The point is, that was a meaningful moment. Because Dana White did say to him, I'm not going to tell you no. There was no more than that. But that's a big statement to get from the boss. You now don't have a no. You got something to talk about. Okay, great. Right? Any sales, as long as you keep them talking, we still got a chance. That was step 1. Step 2. He came out 2-3 days ago, and he called out Paddy Pimblett. Now, it wasn't a complete and total call out. It was more of a comment. It was a comment that he would do it. Now, when I talk about the Paul brothers belong, and I talk about I can no longer have hate for the Paul brothers, it all started with Jake doing an interview with TMZ where he said in the world of boxing, bring me a worthy opponent. Those are fighting words. Those are cocky words. He didn't stop there. He followed it up. He said, don't bring me a world champion. I'm not a world champion. Bring me a worthy opponent. Bring me somebody with some experience like me, with some athleticism. He qualified. Now I go, oh, wait a minute. Now you got me. That's completely different. Because now he's not disrespecting an industry. He's not disrespecting the viewer. He's telling you ahead of time. He qualified what worthy opponent was. But don't bring anybody too good. I'm not there yet. This was years ago. Jake might have changed his mind after beating 2 world champions. Sharing what he said a number of years ago. You then look at Logan, who got in there and fought Floyd. Huge size difference. Ridiculous. Had to be an exhibition. There was no commission that would sanction just the weight discrepancy. So they found a way. They did it on their own. Now you have Logan, who has 0 experience in MMA. He's for sure a tough guy. For sure. Like it or not. Some of you don't like that. The Pauls are tough boys, man. And he's for sure a hell of an athlete. That's no longer in question. He wrestled his entire youth at a very good level. State of Ohio, one of the top guys, never a threat for the championship, wasn't in a discussion for a scholarship to go on beyond there, but it's still a high level. That's a hard state, and he was one of the boys. I was in his youth. He's played around because he has an interest in jiu-jitsu, and we know that he's got hands. Okay. What does that mean? I could probably describe for you off the top of my head 100 boys that I know that deserve to be in the octagon far more than Logan Paul. Yeah, they're not as big of a draw, but boy, they put the time in, and they got way more skills than what I just described there. He's got hands. What kind of a comment by me is that? He was one of the boys back in high school. What kind of a comment is that? He played around with jiu-jitsu. What kind of a comment is that? Well, for the criteria that Logan is setting up, Logan wasn't as clear as Jake. Jake went right into it and said, worthy opponent, here's where I'm not. So don't bring me someone that's there, but I'm also not here. Don't bring me a worthy opponent. We can both work hard. We can both have a goal. We can both compete. We can both get a little bit better. It's a great statement. Great statement by Jake. Now, Logan is saying the same thing if he's not qualifying. It's the reason that he's fighting a much smaller guy like Floyd. Your skills are way better, but the risk is different. Your power is going to be less. Should you expose me, should you be able to set a trap and get through, my repercussions, meaning damage, are not going to be as great. I'm in. That makes a level of sense to me. I don't know if you can make a business out of that. I don't know that that's a sustainable model, what I'm describing for you. I'm talking about for the moment, for what they were doing, that was fair. That was a fair trade, and everybody knew it. Floyd knew this guy can't box like me, and Floyd also knew, man, this guy's going to be hard to put down. He's just a bigger animal. That's what Logan's doing with Paddy. That's why I don't hate it. If Logan was going to come over, look, because here's the most likely scenario. The most likely scenario is Logan's doing this, and it's going to annoy a whole bunch of people, and it is disrespectful, because Logan will convince plenty of people. The average person doesn't know a goddamn thing about fighting. They don't know what they're looking at. You will have fight fans that don't know what they're looking at. There's executives within this business don't even know what the business is. It's one of those things. So Logan would have, if he wanted to come out and be a jerk and talk about I'm the absolute best and I did this stuff and it was all in secret and it was in training and eventually I'll get over that, he's going to have a big part of the population that's going to believe it, which is going to take away from the boys who have actually earned it. He didn't do that. He's not saying it as clearly as Jake did, but he's saying the same thing, which is I haven't done this and I've got some experience and I'm willing to work really hard, but you're already really good. All the things that I need to go in the gym and sacrifice and work to get, you already have them. So I will come over. I will get the competition because I am a true competitor. I'm still at the age where I can go out and live some of those dreams. You're the one that's going to go on. You're the one that's going to have another fight and another one. I'm going to come in and do this one time, chalk it off the bucket list, and go back to having fun in other places. So I like it. I like it. This is no longer a discussion of can Jake go with Paddy. It's completely different. I apologize, Logan. He's much bigger. So he's saying right now, when he calls out Paddy, he's saying right now, make me some concessions. Make the threat of unarmed combat, which is the most threatening sport that you can do, make the threat a little bit smaller. And somebody with lack of experience like me, but a real willingness, will bring my huge, I can take this audience anywhere I want. I'm willing to bring them to you. You bring an audience somewhere, they may not leave with you. You bring your audience, which takes a lifetime to gain, they might stay here. It's a risky game. And he's willing to put that on. Everybody got to put something up. He's willing to put it on. All I'm saying for you is I think it's fair. I also think it's very reasonable. If he started calling out guys, what are you going to call out Jon Jones? Come on. Come on. There's something about it that has a certain flavor, passes the smell test. I'm into the Paul brothers. Probably the last one you thought you'd say hear that. I'm into them. But I also have no problem with Logan calling out Paddy or any other 45, 55 pounder.